wasn't too shabby. I am actually here at the festival. Festival stuff is over there. But I got my jersey because I already checked in. This thing's pretty cool looking. Yeah. Stoked. Anyway, I have the blue wristband, so that means I get to do demos, shows, and everything. So I'm going to leave that and go get suited up and check out all the booths over there. Alright, this is the demo area. You can see all kinds of brands. Specialized over there. Commencal. I've never ridden a Commencal. Maybe I should try one. Pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Wheels. Oh, there's going to be a lot of stuff here. This is pretty cool. Oh, Jameis. They have a pretty unique suspension design that I like. And here's Esker. I know those guys. Scott. And YT. I have never ridden a YT either, so lots to try out. I'm going to go say hi to the Esker guys. What are you so stoked about? Of course, the first bike that I'm gonna ride is the Esker Rowl. I heard lots of good things about these. I've never actually ridden one, so I'm gonna give it a try. But I gotta get suited up first. They set it up for my weight and stuff, so we'll see how this goes. A lot of similar components, same tires as on my Jaffe, same handlebar stem setup. So, but we're talking full suspension. I think he said 150, 140. So this would be right on the cusp of like the enduro, maybe trail bike enduro category. So cool. Let's give it a try. All right. So on this roll, riding prime cut. And I can tell right away that the suspension on this bike is way more plush than how I have my Rustler set up. Because it's kind of nice that I'm not getting beat up by all these little chattery bumps. And this has what they call Orion suspension. I think it's similar to DW Link. I don't know. Suspension always confuses me, but it's super stable on the climb. So it's got a Fox 36 on the front and a Fox float on the rear, but it's like pretty nice rear shock from what I can tell. I don't know a ton about Fox suspension. My Rustler has Fox rear, but it doesn't have the extra canister like this one does. Another thing that I've never used is the SRAM DB8 brakes. All the SRAM brakes I've ever used are guide, and those aren't the greatest brakes. So get a feel for these DB8s, see what I think, especially once I get on the downhill. So this would be pretty comparable to my Rustler in the sense that it's 150 up front, 140 rear. My Rustler is 150, 130. So close. It's kind of nice to be able to do a direct comparison. Well, if you want to know how a bike climbs, this is the place to do it, because I'm still climbing. I definitely feel like I'm more acclimated now. I did this same route my first day, and I had to take like probably 3 breaks going up this climb. So far, I haven't taken a single break. And I'm breathing heavy, but I don't feel like I'm like gasping for air like I was before. Of course, now I'm talking, not breathing. So, one thing about full suspension, like if you're seated and pedaling, it usually does pretty good. The true test is when you get out of the saddle and climb. Does it bob up and down a bunch? So right here, I'm getting out of the saddle, climbing, and it's pretty stable. I feel it bobbing a little bit, but it's not like terrible where I feel like I'm losing my climbing capability, because that can happen as soon as you stand, try to grind up a steep section. You lose power because the suspension is absorbing it. I don't think it's possible to make full suspension climb like a hardtail in those situations, but the closer they can get, the better. And this one's pretty close. It's a pretty good climber. So I came up upon a super quick steep climb after a corner, so I didn't have time to turn the GoPro on. There were a bunch of rocks, things like that. It was a steep, punchy, short climb, and I basically stayed seated, got into the easy gear, like people call the big SRAM gear the bailout gear, and I was able to just pedal up this really technical climb. And this is where full suspension comes into play, especially a really good full suspension like this bike, is the back wheel goes up and down and keeps your traction on the climb, so you don't like have these moments where your tire is off the ground and cause you to lose momentum or spin out. This bike just went up like a champ. It was impressive. And I'm not one for being seated and climbing a lot of the time. I like to get out of the saddle, but that's the hardtail rider in me. So I had to switch my brain to be like, okay, just stay seated, grind, let the bike do its thing. And it did. Whew. So yeah, there you have it, all the way up this prime cut in one shot without stopping, and this thing did amazing. So I'm impressed. So if you're asking, can it climb, the answer is yes, it can. Now let's go to Kessel Run and see how I like its descending and cornering capability, because that's what Kessel Run is. Oh, here's technical. Oh, wow. Not a problem. Holy moly. That was way easy. Okay, here's Kessel Run. A couple of things before I hit this is there's this degree of trust I have to develop with this bike. I'm quickly learning that I can trust it. Like that really tough hard right turn through the technical rocks like was super smooth, super easy. The bike just handled it without a problem. So time to do Kessel Run. There's not a lot of like super full suspension-y stuff on this run, but it'll definitely test the cornering capabilities of this bike and just how it feels in general. And I'll get to test these DB8 brakes because you know me, I like good brakes. So we'll test how my endurance is too, because if you remember on my Kessel run that I did on Monday, my calves were getting sore, things like that. I've been out here all week riding, so we'll see how I do. So one thing I have to realize is that I really need to lean this bike. Slacker, full suspension bikes, they're not going to turn if you do not lean them. And that's the truth right there. I'm going to do a video on cornering and slack bikes and how leaning makes a world of difference. See, oh, that's so smooth. This bike, this bike is awesome. We're gonna go right over the rough stuff. Through that, yes. The other thing I'm finding with this bike is unless stuff is super chunky or I know I need to get air or do a drop, I'm keeping the saddle up and using it as kind of a way to stabilize my corner by kind of setting it. See there, I set the saddle down for that and I put it right back up and I lean it on the inside of my thigh on some of these turns. Now I got a kid ahead of me, so I gotta be kind here. All right. Hello.
Morning.
You having fun?
Loving it.
Sweet. This is why, and I talk about trail etiquette all the time, you need to have your head up looking down the trail and not just looking right in front of your bike, because you want to see stuff like a kid in the trail who has every right to be here and having fun, right? Oh, I missed that. I think I missed that last time. It's like kind of on the inside of the turn. Let's hit that. Yeah. Oh, this bike is awesome. Definitely set up way better than my Rustler. That time I slowed into the little roll there, knowing that sharp corner was after. That's another thing, is the more I learn a trail, the more I can flow better on it, because I knew I could just slow it down, catch that little roller, and I'd have just the right speed for the corner after it. And I know right after this road are these tight berms. Super fun. Let's test this out. Lean the bike. Oh gosh, I have to trust the tires are gonna bite. And they do. Nice. All this chatter, I'm not getting beat up. I'm gonna take this line that I forgot to do the first time. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, I have a feeling This thing would be great for jumping. Whoa, brakes, they work. Definitely a huge improvement over other SRAM brakes I've used. It's really easy to weight the front wheel on this bike in these turns and get that traction I need. Combined with the quality of these brakes, it's pretty sweet cornering. Haven't really tried any like manualing on this bike yet. Oh, it's not bad. Nice. This bike is awesome. So this woman that's climbing up here, she just came here and she's trying out a demo e-bike, and she's only 4'11", and the bike has 800mm wide bars. So we were kind of cracking up. Look, I don't know if you can see her, but her arms are like way out to the side, like these huge bars. And it's kind of like they seem to just equip all the bikes with these wide bars, and they don't really take into consideration that smaller built person needs a narrower bar. I've done some videos on that, by the way, so if you're interested. So this bike is awesome. I don't want to say it's the nicest bike I've ever ridden, but I want to say it's the nicest bike I've ever ridden. So, but I just don't want to say that because I tend to say that a lot when I ride a new bike that I haven't owned for a while or whatever. But it did everything I wanted it to do, and I guess that's the key. The Fox suspension, so this is a Fox Rhythm 36 on the front now that I'm looking at it. You can run either a 27.5 plus or 29 on there. These are 29s. The suspension just kind of blows my mind. It's that thing I was talking about where it's plush at the top and can handle all the little chattery stuff, but it's stiff where I need it. He set this up for my weight, and you can see that's how far I went on there and how far on there, and I didn't hit anything really big, right? But a couple of things I hit, but you know, I still have a little bit of suspension left, and by the time the suspension gets to this point, it's really ramped up to being really stiff. So I have a feeling this last bit of travel would be really hard to achieve unless I did like a big drop or something like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna take this bike back and try something else out. So Esker Rowl, I think that's how you pronounce it. I want to say Rowl, but I think they say Rowl. Yes, all day long.
Howdy, last lap of the week?
This bike sucks. It's the worst bike I've ever ridden.
He's getting that, a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've never tried e-bikes before. I see quite a few e-bikes over there I could probably try out. And I know Josh here in the plaid green and gray shirt. And I've never heard of this brand before, Fantic. So I think I'm gonna talk to Josh over here and check one of these bikes out and try an e-bike and see what I think about it. I definitely want to try Famous, Specialized, we'll see. I'm just one of those that isn't a huge Specialized fan. I don't know why. There's those of us out there, and then there's Commencal. I've never ridden Commencal, so I'll try that too. Cool. Hey Josh, do you have an e-bike for me?
I do.
Do you realize you will officially be on YouTube?
I am realizing
YouTube.
that. I've actually seen your YouTube channel.
What size is that?
This is a medium.
Okay. Do you have a small or not?
I don't currently in these.
Okay, I'll just try the medium. It'll be fine. I'm usually
You're about the same height as I am, but
yeah. I'm usually in between sizes.
Yeah.
Between small and medium. So I'll try the medium. It's an e-bike. It'll do everything for me. You got the specs on this bad boy? How much?
So this one's the 1.5, so it's 150 travel.
Okay.
On this one, 250 watt. This one is good for up to 20 miles an hour. But Fantic, out of Italy, motorcycle company since the 60s, started making e-bikes in 2015.
Cool.
And,
Careful when you're riding. Yeah.
What size are the wheels? Are these 29ers or
27.5?
Oh, they are 20. Yeah, I thought they looked.
Or no,
like
this one is. I'm sorry. This is 29 on this one.
But it's just a smaller tire. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm playing around with the different assist levels. They said the battery was pretty low on this one, so I probably can't go too far. So I'm just gonna go up, prime cut, and come back down. I forget the name of this trail over on my right, but we'll do a shorter loop. I do own an e-commuter bike, which is the Bosch system. This feels pretty similar. Okay, so I'm in Eco. So this bike isn't quite set up to be as rowdy as the Rowl. So I don't really plan on getting as rowdy on it. But we'll see. Kind of funny. So in Eco, I still have to work. Kind of equivalent. You have to realize e-bikes are really heavy. So there, if I bump up the assistance level, climbing suddenly becomes a breeze. And I have to evaluate bikes based on their price point, because this one's NX. It's got the guide brakes I was talking about earlier, and it's got kind of the lower end RockShox 35 fork, so I can't expect it to ride anything like some of these higher end full suspension bikes I'm trying out. But it's pretty decent, and certainly climbing suddenly gets really easy. Look at that. So for ease of climbing and getting through stuff, the ESS definitely does that. Like, I'm just barely pedaling and the bike is just surging forward up this hill, right? But this bike's really heavy, And when it comes to technical stuff or me needing to pull up the front wheel, I can definitely feel that weight. A lot more effort to throw the bike around. So I have a Beano Boost e-bike, and I talked about this on my channel last year. One thing I see people do when they're on e-bikes is they don't downshift into that easier gear and keep the RPMs up. That's where the sweet spot is as far as assist goes. So if you're staying in a higher gear and just pedaling really hard and expecting the e-assist to do it all for you, it's not how they're designed. They're designed to still require shifting. Like right there, that's an eco. I got an easy gear and climbed right up that hill with ease. So if you get an e-bike, or if you own an e-bike, learn how to find out where the sweet spot is in gear, where you're getting the most torque from the motor. It's actually not much different than if you're driving like a manual transmission car. Where the power is going to be is in the specific RPM of a engine. This is the same thing. Power is at a specific RPM. And of course, somebody that's more fit can use less assist. And somebody that isn't as fit, they can use more assist. But what they can do is they can use like an e-bike to help them become more fit. And that's the nice thing about e-bikes, is they kind of allow more people on bikes. So there is a positive aspect of it. I know there's a lot of trails, especially out here, that don't allow them, but so right there, I'm in the sweet spot of what I would consider the torque band, and the bike just surges forward in eco. Here, we got a steep climb here. Still in eco. I downshifted into an easier gear. No problem. Let's go over this rock. Yeah, piece of cake. So don't use your e-assist as your shifter. You know, when the hill gets steeper, you're gonna have this tendency to go into turbo or whatever, when the reality is you go into an easier gear and get your RPMs up, you'll save battery and you'll be able to just pedal right up the hill with ease. So here's kind of a long sustained climb. I'm in the eco, I'm in the easiest gear, and I'm effortlessly climbing. I mean, I could go one level assist higher if I wanted, but then I feel like I'd have to go up one gear. So now we'll work our way over to some downhill flow stuff. Still a little bit of climbing to get there, but this had, I think it's only got like 2 bars or whatever left of battery. Oh, down to, is it down to 1 bar? No, 2 bars. So I should be okay. That's one of the things with e-bikes, is range anxiety. Oh my gosh, you can definitely feel the weight of this thing. Oh. That's the part I don't like. It's how heavy it is. Certainly kind of crushes through everything, but catching air is more challenging. I suppose you'd get used to it after a while. Build up your muscles. This bike doesn't have the aggressive tires that I would really like to have right now, so I gotta be a little cautious. Oh. Of course I had to jump right before the turn because I don't know the trail. This is a fun little cinder trail. I haven't been on this trail before. I think I lost count of how many jumps I've cased because it's really hard to pop this bike. But the nice thing is on these sections where I would normally slow down a bit, I can just kind of casually pedal and keep my speed up. Look at that. Jeez. I knew I'd catch people. Okay, I had to get past a couple of people. I get it. People aren't as confident as going this fast through trails like this. Whoa, and that's probably why right there. Like, I know how to handle that kind of stuff when I get kicked out on a rock. That a lot of times would take people out if they don't know how to like correct and readjust for those situations. So the geometry of this bike seems really good actually. The component spec is not my favorite, and my arms are getting fatigued from the chatter because this fork doesn't handle the chatter very good. But as far as how the bike handles, like this bike with better specs components would actually be pretty sweet. And more people. This trail looks kind of cool. Nice. Yeah, I would think a bike like this with higher spec components would be pretty nice. I don't know a whole lot about the drivetrain. I'll be putting links in the description. Oh god, I do not like jumping this bike. Like, I can feel that in my shoulders. Maybe at high speed on floater senders, but jumps where you have to actually like pull up and pop, really challenging on my arms. I get why people that ride motocross like e-bikes. I totally like not ready for that.
Right out there. Have you been out
Check
here,
out
or did
this
you get on the trail?
DJ bike. That thing is so rad.
Awesome, awesome. That's John with Commencal Bikes.
This is
right
Revel
here.
bikes
Thanks, John.
and
Appreciate
wheels.
ya. Thanks, Ken. We appreciate all the vendors being out here this weekend. That's supporting Fruita Tire Festival.
bank spoon. Rims. I actually might consider getting these wheels for my DJ bike because Spank makes really good stuff. That is a dope bike. Now let's check out this titanium gravel bike. Nice. This is all the rage lately, is making cool kids bikes, which is so needed in our sport. Super cool. And then I believe they even have a couple over here. Right. Yeah. Kids gotta have fun too. Okay. Checking out a Commencal. I've never ridden a Commencal before. I've always heard great things about them. This is the T.E.M.P.O, so this is 125 rear. I believe they said 150 front. So this is, if you've heard of the Spectral, you know, the Canyon Spectral 125, this is that same concept. Bigger travel front, short travel rear. Designed to be a super rowdy bike. So I'm excited to ride this bike. And again, knobby nicks. They seem to be the tire to have. And I'm liking the ones I have on my Esker Jaffe. So this is a high spec bike. It's got the Olin suspension, which I've also never ridden before. So it's going to be fun to ride this bike and learn a lot about it. Brakes, not sure what they are. Oh, TRP, yeah, nice. So yeah, let's give this bike a shred. So we get to do prime cut again. This is my third prime cut, although one of them was on an e-bike, which made it really easy. So this bike isn't gonna have the plushnesss of a longer travel bike like the Rowl I just rode. So I opted for the road on this one. I gotta pace myself. The suspension on this bike is quite a bit more active, so kind of playing around. It does have lockout, but when it's in its open mode, it bounces a lot on the climb. So it's not what I would consider a stable climbing platform, but it's probably not designed for that. It does have lockout, so if I lock it out, now the climbing is stable. Yep. So I'll keep it locked out. With me, one of my issues with lockout on suspension is that I'll forget to unlock it when I get into the downhill stuff. I always like, dang it, I forget to unlock it. So let's hope I remember to do that. But I'm gonna take the road, get up to the top, and then take that little downhill run. Has a few jumps and stuff on it, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like this bike. So this is what I would kind of consider a BMXer's bike. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking because I know the wind is probably blowing through the camera and annoying the crap out of the viewers. So I'm almost to the trailhead, and just so you get an idea, if you look way down there, that's where the demo area is. So I did all this climbing. So it's about 500 feet of climbing each time I have to come up this hill to do another descent, whether that be Kessel Run or some of these other trails. But the view is amazing. Anyway, let's give this Commencal a run on this more jumpy, bermy trail over here. that I did with the e-bike. Just on this little trail that I'm taking to get over to the downhill section. All this I'm not riding. Yep, I'm at 1,081 feet of climbing over a distance of 7 miles, and that's not including the e-bike lap I did. For some reason I didn't want to record that on my Garmin because I was riding an e-bike. To be honest, I felt like I didn't even have to work at all, which is what an e-bike's for, right? So I figured, why should I put it into my workout? But anyway, talking about this bike in this little technical section, aside from that gnarly up that I decided to walk up instead of ride up. Sorry about the wind. See if I can block it. This bike handles really well, and I put it in lockout, and that makes it a great climber. It climbs more like a hardtail, and I have a feeling when I open that up and use the suspension, it's going to be super active. I'm going to really like it. One thing I want to say is the way that these employees that work for Commencal set this bike up, you can 100% tell that they're riders. Even these handlebars have all these markings on there. If you've seen my video about setting up your levers, your shifters and stuff, every once in a while you get these companies or bike shops or whatever that set this stuff up right up against the grip. You don't want to do that. You want to move it in so you're one finger braking at the end of the lever, your shifters are out of the way, this shifter's out of the way, or the dropper lever, so on and so forth. So they know how to set this up. Like, I didn't even have to tell them and everything, and so it's so cool because then you know that the employees know what they're doing. And that's what makes it awesome, is when you're working with a company where the employees get it. So people that work for like Esker, Commencal, YT, you know, those brands, they all know what they're doing. I love it. Hello, welcome to YouTube. Have fun. Got a laugh out of them. Oh yeah, let's remember to open this suspension up. Oh, I got a little more climbing. Oh boy, finally at the top. Let's open this bad boy up. Super active suspension. I feel like this bike is going to be my jam, and I haven't even gotten it onto the downhill section yet. So let's hit it. Whew, once I get a breather and some water. Oh, the front end comes right up. Oh my goodness. This is a BMXer's dream right here. See, now that's what I was talking about on the e-bike. Like, I was able to just pop over that, and then we'll do. Woo. See, I like the lightweightness. I'm gonna lie, I can pop. Oh, this bike, I gotta be careful not to overdo it, because certainly in my mind right now that I want to just push. Well, definitely not as plush. That's that same corner that I gotta remember when I do the jump. Oh, this bike just flies. Yeah. Oh, manuals. like a dream. All right, I gotta gather myself here. Wow. Well, that time I was just going too slow. All right. Whew. This bike is a shredder's dream. Oh gosh, yeah, this is so rad. It's not a long travel plush bike, but it's not doing bad through all these bumps. And I'm able to pick my line and just shred them. Wow, I'm getting tired going downhill. Whew. I don't even know how you can make a bike this good. Holy moly. Keep in mind, what I'm doing right now is what this bike is designed for. So of course, it absolutely shreds on this type of flowy downhill. Yeah, just pops whenever I need it to. It responds. Don't even have to think extra about it. It just does what I want it to do. Oh, there's that same rock. And again, you want to be able to handle that. I'm going to catch up to some people here, which is fine. I need a break. This isn't Kessel Run, but it's a lot like it, so you can kind of get a feel for that too. So back there, I came out of that corner and I wasn't quite in the line that I wanted to be in, and I was able to just literally pick the back end up and kick it over so I was aimed the way I wanted to be aimed with ease, like without even thinking about it. Like this bike, this is my jam right here. 100% my jam. Holy moly. I'm in love. I hate falling in love with a bike because then I want to buy it. There's the festival. Do I really have to give this thing back? I do, because I have my driver's license. Well, that, and they know who I am. There's a lot of people do. All right. Oh, I'm gonna go right. This thing shreds. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Now I want to buy it.
That's the goal.
There it is. So rad.
Too. I think I'm building one soon.
It's time to take a break and see what the food truck has to offer. I am beat. Wow. All right. Still got my knee pads on. All right. Let's go walk around. So Riley ramps, I've never heard of that before. Similar to the MTB hopper. Definitely a different type of construction. I feel like that's a little too short and too much of a booter for my liking. Although I'm sure you can adjust it to not be quite such a booter. Cool. Okay, here we go. I'm trying out YT. It's another brand I've never ridden before. Same shock as I had on the Rowl on the rear, and a Fox 38. So this is a big bike. I'm going the other direction now. Trying out a big bike because I've been riding all these shorter travel bikes, but this is 170 front, 165 rear. This is called the Capra, but what I really want to try on this is a mullet, so it's 29 front, 27.5 rear, and I haven't ever ridden a mullet full suspension bike. If you've been following my channel, of course you know about my mullet Hey Duke, and that I've been pretty excited about it. So yeah, let's give this a lap and see what I think. And I know it's going to be different than, say, the Commencal I rode and stuff like that. Like, this is a much bigger travel bike. We'll see how it climbs, but of course it's not designed to be a fast climber. It's just designed to get you to the top so you can have fun. And you can tell it's got the chain guide to keep the chain on and things like that. So this bike's made it some really gnarly terrain. So yeah, let's give it a shot. This is very different than what I typically ride. So this is prime cut, and I think I'm gonna lose count how many times I've climbed this hill. So I'm gonna take it easy and just climb. Plus I just ate lunch, chili dog, and some nachos with a bunch of jalapenos. So we'll see how that feels in my gut here. Yeah, nice. Oh, that manual's nice. So now I'm on the downhill. This bike is a beast to climb with. I wouldn't say it's as playful, obviously, as the Commencal I rode, but it's a big bike. But it certainly likes the jumps. YT Capra MX build, and what's kind of nice about these mullets is they manual nice. Here's that turn. I keep forgetting about it. Wow, this bike likes the airtime. I'm probably not gonna have the energy to really be super aggressive on this bike because I am toast from all the riding I've been doing today, but I get a good feel for it. It corners really nice. I probably should have manualed those doubles because I need to see how it manual, but instead I popped on them. see if I find another set, something I can manual. Well, that. Oh yeah, I really starting to see the advantage of what they're calling MX builds or mullet builds, where you have the 29 front, 27.5 rear. Like the cornering is amazing. Oh, that was me. I was leaned wrong when I took off. Woo! I think I need to call it a day. I'm tired even going downhill. Yeah. Take this stretch to get a little breather, because I know there's some rowdiness coming up. So a lot of these chattery bumps right here doesn't seem as plush as the suspension that I was running on the Revel. And it might just be the settings. I did tell him that I ride BMX and set my suspension stiffer, so it could be just that, or the fact that maybe a Fox 38 is just you know, designed for rowdy downhill, and it's just gonna be a stiffer fork, right? It's definitely sharp. Like, there's no flex when I turn. It just points and goes because of the bigger stanchions. It's going to be a much stiffer fork. I wasn't going very fast on that, but I was able to compress and pop. That was kind of cool. All right, my endurance is starting to fade. That's an off-camber turn. So this bike is running your typical Minion DHF and DHR tires, so everybody knows that these tires do a good job. So I avoided that rock, finally. How many times do I have to ride this trail before I know to avoid the rock that's gonna kick me sideways? Okay, so my GoPro battery went dead right at the end of that run, but I just had only a short distance left to go. So this thing is done for the day. I do have my other GoPro though. But this is definitely a big bike. So climbing, it was a beast, but it could do it. So I mean, the idea is it has the big gear in the back. You could put it in there and just take your time climbing to the top, and then you can have a blast going downhill. So something that I am not as familiar with, and it probably has to do with the fact that bikes dedicated for downhill, they generally have a lower bottom bracket height or something like that, because I had a couple times where I hit the pedals on the ground, and that was the problem I had with the Rocky Mountain that I had for a very short time, because I couldn't get it to where I wouldn't hit my pedals. Maybe it's because you have to ride this kind of bike differently than what I'm used to riding or whatever, but that always makes me a little nervous. Aside from that, I mean, the mullet aspect of the bike is amazing. It corners Just fantastic. Front wheel comes up, manuals, jumps, all that stuff. I have a feeling mullets, I'm hearing jets, so I'm looking for fighter jets, because every once in a while you'll see a fighter jet coming around out here. But the mullet concept, or what we call MX build, is definitely here to stay, I think, because the bikes ride so good when they're configured this way. And so I'm amazed, but yeah. Would I want this bike? Probably not where I live, but if I lived in a place that had more downhill, so on and so forth. I don't even think you need a bike like this for this kind of terrain here in Fruita and Grand Junction. But if I lived out west, maybe the North Shore or something like that, a bike like this would rule out there. Totally rule in those areas of the country. This would be a great Whistler bike. It would rule at a place like Whistler. So there you have it. The YT Capra in MX build. Sweet bike. So that's kind of it with my assessment of today's demos. I'm going to demo a couple more bikes tomorrow, but I really want to go on one of the group rides at least and be a little more social and so on. And there's a party downtown I'm going to go join, and more vendors down there and so on and so forth. So I'm going to end this video here. Definitely more videos to come. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.